the unknown, down the rabbit hole, where it stops no one knows. We're going head into the unknown. Na, 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 na.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Hi, Stephanie. Hey, Bonnie. Hey, Cleveland Rocks. My Shea Boone. Hi, Princess Megan Elsa. Hi, ATS. Nadine, my Sharky Soul Sister. What's up, Rexy? Danielle. Hi, Shane. Hey, Moose Goose. Hey, Angela. Hey, Chaz. Hey, Ramblin' Rome. Hey, Dustin. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Danielle. Hi, PJ Second Chance. Hey, Bonnie. Hi, Petunia. Hi, Maggie and me. Hi, Dolly Bear. I feel like in order to wrap our minds around this entire thing, we have to start at the beginning again. So I'm going to go back and watch Reese's breakdown the last 5 videos, I think. We never even got to finish going backwards in time. So hold on, let me turn this off real quick so it doesn't ding the whole time. Let's see. Hi, Carla. All right, let's see who else. Who did I miss? Hey, Music City Mom. Hi, Peyton. C Dub. Oh no. Tell me your puppy's okay. Tell me your puppy's okay, C Dub. Hi, Aussie True Crime. Hi, Maria. Hey, Water Loving Dog. Oh, I gotta make sure the dog's okay. If he doesn't know anything about me, I gotta know that. Hey, Marshall. Hi, Alibi. Hi, Python Chick. Mystic Firefly. Oh, shit. Stupid pop-up. Puppy was not okay. C-Dub. All right, I'm thinking about your puppy. Okay. I get it. Hi, Gina. Okay. Oh, my gosh, you guys. This weekend, what the hell happened to this case? It's like I just left YouTube for like 2 days. And everything went just fucking crazy. And I know you're not in YouTube jail anymore. I can see you. Hey, hi, Yaya. Yaya Kelly. Hi, Dynamite. What it's just been, I don't know, I'm like flabbergasted with everything that's happened. But before we get into all this new stuff, yeah, this place blew up. I know. Delphi's a mess. Hey, Cool Gamer. I know. I'm like, I was in a chat earlier today, and I'm just like, Delphi's just a dumpster fire at this point. It's just, I don't even know what I was thinking trying to talk about this. As soon as like I went into that damn document, it's like everything's just falling apart. If I start waking up with more runes tattooed on my face, I'm screwed. Hey, Tornado Artist. Hey, Queen Elizabeth. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gina. Okay, so before we get too far into the new stuff, there's a couple things that I need to go back and talk about. Do you guys remember that I had brought up that I had heard that there was another witness? It was a male, that was a couple, like guy and girl, and that they had seen Richard Allen. See, I keep going to say it's Richard Allen. That's not what they said. They didn't say that it was Richard Allen. They saw a guy that was coming out of the bushes towards the trail crossing. And no, not the arguing couple, a different couple. I'm almost positive it's a different couple. I'm not sure though. And I was like, did you guys ever hear that rumor that there was like this person who like came out of the bushes and everybody's like, what the hell are you talking about? And then I got tons of comments and I was like, I'm going to have to go figure out where the hell I heard that, because otherwise I'm just making shit up and that's just not cool, because I like to source anything and everything that I have. Hi, Mrs. M. Hi, wife Lilith. So I had to go back and do some digging. Hi, MK. So I don't think it's the arguing couple. It's the couple. Okay, so Cheyenne was there with her girlfriend, and she took a couple photos on the bridge. She supposedly got there at like 2:50, and she went and took a photo. She took a couple photos of the bridge, I believe, and she walked the whole bridge at around 3 o'clock, and then walked back, and she saw this other couple. I don't know if it's the same couple. What's up, Quinny? Hey, Delana. I don't know if it's the same couple, so don't go too far with that. But then supposedly the guy in that couple was walking and he saw somebody come out of the brush and basically cut back to the trail heading. Not Daniel Pearson? Okay. Is Daniel Pearson the one in the arguing couple? I have to check my notes. Just, Shane, is Daniel Pearson the one from the arguing couple? Or is this the one that was there later in the afternoon at the same time that Cheyenne was there? Did Doolin lose this tip too? I don't know, because it's not in any of the PCAs or anything. Hey, Jenna. My reporters have info about how the crime scene was staged, and there's another witness was not interviewed like the other people. Yeah, supposedly this guy he was interviewed, but his info is like not in any of the PCAs. So I don't want to say a name when I'm not sure. Okay, so he is. That's the arguing guy. He's the one that was arguing. He was there. He was like caught cheating on his girlfriend and then she came up. So is that the one? I don't know if this is the same dude. I'm going to have to go dig deeper to figure that out, unless one of you guys happens to know. I'll say, Dustin, you guys talked to the guy that was there. Is that the same guy? Okay, yeah, so DP's the one that was under the bridge arguing, cheating on his girlfriend, got caught up, so on and so forth. I don't know if this couple's the same couple. Okay, it is. Okay, so then he gave then that would be the same guy. So how does nobody know the story about the guy coming out of the bushes? Yeah, she's not in the PCA, so who knows? Yeah. Hey, K-Braze. Hey, Maggie and me. Okay, so anyway, so I went back and sourced this info. I don't know if it is not a couple. Okay, so now I know what I'm gonna have to figure out. If you guys don't know for sure, then I'll have to looky. What's up, Tony? Okay, so I want to show you where I got the info so that you guys don't think I'm just crazy. Hey, Bonnie. All right, let me make note of that and see if I can figure out if it's the same one or not. Okay, so never heard about the Bushes. DP was being unfaithful. Yes. I'm confused now. Well, so am I. Okay, so I'm going to show you where I got the info, and there's a lot more to it than just even what I had brought up before. Yeah, gotta love receipts. I like receipts. Hey, BG. Okay, so I clipped this. This is from Fig Solve's interview with Julie Melvin. This is one part of it, one piece. Let me share the screen with you guys, though. Hey, Chris. Because I was like, I have to figure out why do I have this in my brain, and nobody seems to know what the hell I'm talking about. Schmeed! Hi, Schmeeda. Whoever this person is, if it's not DP, and even if it is, this person witnessed what they witnessed while Cheyenne was there. So Cheyenne's timing is that she parked her car, was walking towards the bridge at about 2:50, and she says she knows that because she had a missed call from somebody while she was walking to the bridge at 2:50. So she gets there. She also says that she walks the bridge. She does have a couple photos of the bridge. And then she's walking. She gets all the way to the end. And when she's walking back, she takes another photo. And it's, hold on, I have it in my notes. At 3:49, where she's heading from south to north. I got to add that to my map, too. The man that was on the bridge that saw Alan leaving was there same time other girls was there. So my question is that person DP? Yeah, she's a Delphi. She's a Delphi OG. Well, she's also related technically to parts of the family. So she does know stuff. I would like to, I have a whole list of questions for Julie. I'd like to ask her sometime. Okay, hold on. Let me pull up my email too at the same time, because I know you guys have sent me some good stuff. Okay, so this is a clip from from Fig Solves with Julie Melvin. Okay, if you can't hear it, let me know.
Walking through there, so I'm guessing as he crosses this way, he's still in the wood.
Yeah, he's still in the woods. He's probably, so what we were told originally by a person that now they are saying, maybe he didn't see him. I still kind of wonder if maybe he did see him, because what we were told was that this man was walking to him. He came out of the woods. So right before that trail split, that's where you have to get off the path. And he walked by him, and he walked basically that line back that way. Now, why, I guess, where at on 300, because the Hoosier Harbor store didn't get him. I can see him going off to that, that tree line that I showed you where you could pull back in there. I can see him getting off there, and maybe her seeing, I see you have a car there. I can see a person maybe seeing him there. But to walk, what about these homes here? These two homes. I know that one guy was gone, but this other home, you're taking the chance, and there is a lot of traffic
when walking through there, so I'm guessing.
Okay, so did you guys hear where she's talking about that he's walking through here and the guy sees him and walks out? And yes, Cody's mom and Julie are sisters, yes. And Cody was adopted by the Patties. Hey, Wicked West Paranormal. Well, in fairness, Wife Lilith, I don't think they want anybody interfering. I mean, but we're at a point where there's just so much misinformation that's been spewed to the public that I'm just trying to come in and try to clear some of it up and see what we actually are left with. Hi, Amanda. So she's talking about that this person was coming through the brush and comes out at that trail. Hey, Sherry. Okay, so now, like I said, there's more to this than meets the eye. So on her channel, she's done quite a few, like walking the trail, timing it, and just showing us stuff. So one of her walks, she shows us what she believes is the trail that this unknown person would have taken, that this gentleman saw coming out at that trail, at the trail split. So I'm going to show you guys that.
And as you can see, the trail's right there.
Hold on, I got it on fast. Let me slow it down. And I think she actually even speeds up some of her videos too, because she knows that
Pillar came up. And of course there's the bridge.
You guys hear that okay?
So according to eyewitness accounts, this is the path that he took, and I'll explain why. So for purposes of timing, so this is accurate, to get the timeline down, we'll go this way. This is newly cleared. It wasn't cleared like this before. And as you can see, the trail's right there. But you can be obscured on this path. It's much easier to walk this path, so I'm a little quicker than he would have been. One of the original eyewitnesses who now, well, later said, no, I didn't see him, Bridge Guy. But do we know, in fact, that he didn't see Bridge Guy? Because he was going off of the description of the guy being, 5'10" and between the ages of, 18 and 40? Well, we now know that that's not accurate. Therefore, it may be possible that he indeed did see Bridge Guy when he was with his girlfriend by the trail split. So Doug Bryce and I both have an accounting about that eyewitness event, which I'm going to show you. This was much more grown up here. There were blue flags that were set up by law enforcement early on. I talked with one of the people that helped set up these blue flags of the guy's path back. Okay. So I don't believe that he would be expose himself here when I actually walk the path that I think he walked, which would be a little more difficult. So I'm going to do that now. Which, stick the bushes. Although for purposes of not getting stuck, I may have to stop right here. Yep, he walked all along this area. And then, according to one of the eyewitnesses, I'm walking along here for the purpose of not getting stuck. But that he kind of walked along here in the woods. And then I'll show you where he kind of jumped out. Because there's the trail split, you have to jump out. But he jumped out. I'm jumping out early. He walked all along here in the woods There was much more brush at the time. Like this. And then all of a sudden he comes out of the woods, because there's the trail split right there. Comes out of the woods, and the eyewitness and his girlfriend that came onto the trail passed him. So there is the drop-off point right there. And they passed him right about in here. I'm just going to show you.
Okay, so interesting, right? So let me show you guys another source that has, and I'm sure that there's probably even more than this. There's got to be. But let me, oh shoot, I closed that. Dumb. Let me see, let me pull it out. So Cheyenne, who was the one who showed her photos with the timestamps that she took, and the one that's headed back where she's coming from the south end of the bridge back to the north end of the bridge, is at 3:49 p.m. So remember that for a second. And then let me pull this over here real quick. Hold on. I think it's this one. Okay, so this is Cheyenne on Facebook. It says, first off, my initial response is, why didn't you just message me? She's talking to somebody else, obviously. You clearly have my entire name, so I'm pretty positive that you would have found a Cheyenne, whatever. But thanks to you, I have everyone and their brother in my inbox. Secondly, I did report my findings to the police station as soon as I heard the news. 2 weeks later, a detective came and spoke with me for a lengthy amount of time. I showed him the pictures I took and explained what I saw. I described my car and the other vehicles that were parked around me, plus other information that is none of anyone's concern. He has my contact information and is able to use that to his advantage. Third, how are my pictures weird? I'm an avid hiker. Okay, for reference, do I have that photo up? She posted a picture of her leg on the, like ripped jeans on the bridge. And it's got some dark spots on the jeans. I wonder if I have it. I could show you guys so that you know what I'm talking about. And people were saying like, oh my gosh, you have blood on your jeans. Like you had to be involved. If I can't find it quickly, then I will post it for you guys or show you guys another day. I don't want to keep you guys waiting. I swear I had it. I don't know where I put it though. She's posted both of her pictures. The one with her leg like on the bridge, and then she posted the other one from walking south to north. I'll find them for you guys in a minute. Okay, so she's like, I'm an avid hiker and nature enthusiast. I enjoy architecture and other outdoor photography, and I'm in love with the outdoors. And referencing why I was there on that day when I should have been at work is completely closed-minded. Not everyone works a factory job. Also, your story is false about who was there or what I seen. I wasn't alone. I had my best friend who happens to be a female with me. There was another heterosexual couple there, which means I saw a male and a female who surprisingly I knew as well. And before you dig into the situation, they have also spoken with the detective. Okay, now think about it. If she's walking from the south end to the north end at 3:49, she runs into the couple who she happens to know when she's walking back, right? then is that the same couple who supposedly sees this guy coming out of the woods? Okay, let me see what you guys were saying because I was too busy reading. Yeah. Hey, Clayton. Hey, stay-at-home detective. Stay-at-home mom detective. Stay-at-home mom detective needs one of the new sweatshirts. You twisted Gemini. Ain't no way. Da, da, da. All right, just trying to see what you guys say. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, I know I have that picture. I just don't know where the hell I put it. Maybe I'll just go back in my email real quick. Hold on. That's much faster, but I don't have, I have the other one somewhere as well from her where she says this was me walking back and to prove that she was actually walking back at that time. So I guess my big question is if the timing matches, because one of the other problems I had was how did the Hoosier Harvest Store not catch him walking on the road like it caught all the cars where supposedly Sarah Carbaugh saw him. And if she had seen him further towards like the trailhead, then they would have said that he was walking north because that's where he would have had to have gone to get his car at the CPS building. Hi, Claus. Yeah. So she was interviewed lengthy, she said. After she told them that she was there, they came to her house and spent a lot of time with her. Richard Allen, no, he not that much time, just a grocery store stop. So who was seen on North 300? Yes. So there was a man and a female there, that a couple of years into this case, someone claimed there was what sounded like a woman on the recording. Oh, on like Libby's recording? Yeah, I actually have the ones that she showed in a Facebook group. I just don't know what I did with them. And it has both of the pictures, this one and the one that she has facing the other way. And hi, Crime Sleuthin. Hey, Lolo. Hey, Corky. The witnesses that was interviewed, the defense is saying they cannot be liable to what they say because they did not actually see Alan's face. But the problem is, if the timing is right, and they're saying everything's done by 3:30. Number one, you now have Cheyenne. Well, you don't now because we always did. We had Cheyenne on the other side at the end of the bridge, not that far from where the girls were being killed. That's number one. Number two is if you have this guy who's taking this outside path, let me pull up the map. My little's been sick all weekend, so I'm hoping I'm not getting it, but I'm feeling a little warm. I'll tell you that right now. All right, let me see. Hi, Bella. I know, Bella. So me too. Hi, hippie chick. Well, how would you know you were looking for a guy that early on? But just I'm even thinking, like, how do you not get a description of what you did see? And now with the timing of it, if they're saying it's done by 3:30, it's kind of my point. Is if they're saying it's done by 3:30, she's walking back across the bridge starting at 3:49, and there's somebody, you know, over here that she sees a couple that she knows. That couple then sees somebody coming out of the bushes at the trail crossing. I don't, is there a video out there? Does anybody know? Is there a video out there that tells us how long it actually takes to cross the bridge? Have any of you guys done it? He had a scarf on, but that matches what the other witnesses have said, that they saw the man walking and he had the scarf covering his face. Hi, Vanessa. So he does match that description. Walking, running, and no, this is what I have so far. Hey, Tom Tom, was that blood on the lady's ripped jeans? So that's what everybody kept saying to her, was like, hey, that looks like blood. And I think she said it was like wood stain. Tyson Draper did a video of just walking across 7 minutes or less. I know. Thank you. I would think so too, but I don't know. So I don't know. That's my question. So that's why I wanted to bring that back up, because it's something that we've been talking about, and I'm now more confused. I don't know if it's the same guy as the arguing couple, if that's the same couple, if it's a different couple, and what exact time did this guy see anybody coming out of these bushes? And why is anybody coming out of the bushes? No matter if it's a bad guy or not. Like, that's just fucking weird. Okay, I'll check them out. Well, I'll find them. It'll just give us a little bit better timing. So that was one. Now let me see if I can figure out what the second part was that I wanted to show you guys before. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. There was another thing that we had talked about that I wanted to clear up. I'd have to crawl across that bridge. If I was their age, I would have been fine. I wouldn't have cared at all. If I my age now I'm like a chicken. Yeah, why is anybody coming out of the bushes? And why doesn't anybody find that suspicious enough to get a freaking sketch or anything from this guy? You'd think they'd want a sketch or something from that guy. Even if he didn't have anything, I hope they know exactly what that person was wearing. He does say that there was supposedly a scarf on. But once again, like I said, that supposedly matches. Oh, I think I was going to show you guys. Yeah. That's Cheyenne's. Where did I put it? Oh, this one's just quick. Remember the whole thing about the abandoned car and how we've gone back and forth about the stupid abandoned car? So I thought this was interesting, because then we go back to not just being an abandoned warehouse. It's about the actually having the abandoned car, where Sergeant Riley talks about that they had a car found abandoned near the trails on the day the girls went missing. And I wonder now, looking back, this is like an old screenshot. So let me back up just a second. I went through my phone from like the years of like taking screenshots and random ass shit, and I threw it all into like a folder. I'm like, I really need to go through this and see what the heck any of it means. And some of the screenshots I was looking at, I'm like, I don't even know what this belongs to anymore. So some of them don't even make sense. Maybe one day we'll just sit down and go through like all of our screenshots that are from the Delphi case over the years and just see if we can piece some shit together. But anyway, I found that and I was like, wait a minute, car found abandoned near the trails. And now I'm thinking like, is that the white car that they were talking about? Or is that Pat Brown's car that they were talking about? But that would be not the day of, that would have been after when they were asking him to move it. So that was one thing. And now the other thing is I want to know, and I want to see if you guys all agree on this. Who was in the search group that was on the Weber's side and used the phone and looked across and saw the deer? Who was in that search party? Hi, everybody that just popped in. Yeah, do it. I should just open the drive and everybody just put a bunch of shit in there and we'll see what ends up happening. So who was on the side, on Weber's side? I want to see if you guys have the same answer. Because I'll tell you, in trying to prove my thoughts on this, nobody has the same damn answers. He says he's on the side with who's zooming in. Okay, hold on. Did I send that one to myself? We're just doing the side of Weber's. We're not doing Ron Logan's side yet. That's going to be another. We'll do that one next. But let me. Oh, I did. This one. Weber is by the mailbox lady. Yes. Okay, so I'll show you on the map. Weber is down here. So this is Teresa Liebert's, and this is Weber's. It was Kay Weber, and I think her husband actually passed away like that same year. And then up here's the bridge. So the Weber's property is where the bridge ends, and then they're taken across the creek and into, this is what I have highlighted here is Ron Logan's property. So yeah, so this would be Weber's property is south side, Ron Logan's is north side. So right now I just want to do south side. There are screenshots of the searchers' names on yellow paper. Do you have them, Lynn? Do you have what side they were on though? Okay, so David Erskine, you guys are all saying David Erskine is on the side, on the south side on Weber's property. And then somebody else said Jake Johns on the south side. Okay, Jake Johns on the south side. Okay. Erskine was the one who had the text that was leaked and who spotted the girls. The guy with the camera. Yeah, he says he used like his phone and he was zooming in, he saw deer. Hey, Midwest Meemaw. David Erskine. Okay, you think Pat Brown, Jake Johns. Crime sleuthing. I'll set up a different Dropbox for those. Erskine, who had the texts. Pat Brown. Okay, so here's what I find interesting. I cannot confirm any source on any of this. So if you guys actually talk to somebody who could actually just line it all out and say, hey, this is this and this is that. And I've watched quite a few videos and I'm telling you that people don't say the same things. So just an FYI. Hi, MB. And, oh, that's true. KG was on that side. She's over here. Yeah, she says she's over here by the police vehicle, and they're calling up to her about the shoe. JJ found the shoe and zoomed in. So Erskine says in his messages that says, me and my other sister's boyfriend are the ones who found the girls on Tuesday. Not much worse you can show me. Okay. Me and my other sister's boyfriend. So not Anna's, his other sister being Amy. And Amy is married to Ello McDonald. Let me pull that one up for you. So that would mean that he's there with Ello, right? Because he would have to be there with then 3 dudes. This one says, David, you told me you found the girls. I just want to confirm the second person with you was Ivan and the third was a lady. No, my sister's husband, and then we called 2 county deputies. Does this make sense so far? I know, Mystic, I'm sorry. So one he calls my sister's boyfriend, the next he calls my sister's husband. I'm assuming same person. They do end up married. It's, same, whatever. We do know that both are at the search. Now, Becky Patty says that the person who found them called his wife, and his wife was with Becky Patty. This is the only one, Lynn, that I have. So if you have anything else, I'd love to see it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, okay, same person. Oh, shoot, where'd my other picture go? Here it is. So is he saying that it was just him? See, you guys understand what I'm saying. The case keeps getting more complicated. I just want to clarify it. So then that's something I can just move on from. Like I've told you guys forever, like what I have to have an answer. Otherwise I just can't let it go. And it just becomes like something that irritates the shit out of me. So because this was a question I had, and I can't even tell you that I didn't even really question it, that Pat Brown was on the side where the girls were found, and he's the one who found them. And that David Erskine was on the other side. Well, now I have issues with this because Becky Patty also states that Jake Johns, was the one on Weber's side who zoomed in and found the shoe and the deer and all of that. That's supposedly Jake Johns. So now, if David is on the south side on Weber's property, and he's saying that he is with his sister's boyfriend / husband, that's Ello. Where the hell is Jake Johns? And if David says he's the one that found the girls, then he has to be on the other side. Does this make any sense to you guys? Hi, Tia. Do you see what I'm saying? It just doesn't add up. So supposedly, according to one of the interviews, David Erskine was with a lady named Michelle Keene and Pat Brown. If that's true, then this over here is false. Erskine, Ello, and wife who found them. Whose wife? Whose wife? Because whoever called their wife was with Becky Patty, which I would assume would be Amy McDonald. So that would mean, Dustin, if that's true, then he was with Pat Brown. I'm more of a West Side gal. Right. So you say they're out in teams of 6, and I understood they were out in teams of 3. Yeah. No, I'm a Virgo, actually. Amy was not with Becky. Okay. Well, hold on. Let me turn this off so you guys aren't getting all the dings. Okay. So anyway, just to lead to more confusion, I was trying to come up with and try to figure out where in the hell any of that, like who's on first, essentially. And it just seems like it's not like that. How simple of information is it that we can't even figure out 6.5 years later who was on the south side and who was on the north side? So much misinformation. Pat did not find them according to those recordings anyway. Well, so Becky says Pat was on the side that found the girls and he wasn't alone. But if David Erskine's also on that side, then David Erskine isn't with the same people that they're saying that he was with. And if David Erskine's on the south side, then he's not with the people that they're saying he was with. Either way, I can't figure out. Just send you an email. Not sure if it's new info. Okay, thank you. So anyway, that's one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. Now, if anybody can give me the answers to all of that in a definitive, with multiple sources kind of way, I would really appreciate that. I like to have at least 2 sources to say this is something that I can say for sure happened, or at least kind of feel good about. I don't have a new email. Let me see. Make sure it didn't go in my spam. I got nothing new yet, Tornado. Mystic's like, I'm on the north side. Yeah, he also said that she felt like hell. I thought I knew until now. I can't figure it out, because you can't put these people into the same groups and say that they're with David Erskine. Can't be with Pat Brown, and David Erskine can't be with Jake Johns. It's just not. It's impossible. And then you can't have Pat Brown in a group of people who found the girls and David Erskine in a group of people that found the girls without having those 2 groups of people. Does that make sense? Okay, so now let's go on to this weekend's just disaster of shit that happened. Okay, with 3 more. Ooh. I don't know. I've not heard that Richard Allen knew Ron Logan. Okay. Let me go and pull up this stuff. So last week, I think it was last week. I'm not even sure if it was last week anymore. Oh, Melissa, did he? I don't know. Maybe. It would not surprise me. I can go check and see. But I don't remember. Shit, what was I saying? I don't even know anymore. Last week. Oh, yeah. Last week we talked about the tree pic. The picture of the tree that was put into the Facebook groups. And everybody's like, yeah, it's probably not real, so on and so forth. Let me go back and get that too. You guys remember this picture? The F tree. Yeah, fucking tree. Everybody's like, I don't know, I think it's fake. Well, now we're hearing that it's not actually fake, that it was actually part of this batch of crime scene photos that have been leaked to social media people, and that this one also it gets kind of confusing, because most of the people who are saying they've seen these crime scene photos of the actual girls are saying that the pictures are like taken from a computer screen, or at least one person who saw them are saying that they're taken from a computer screen. So like my computer's up, I take the picture I took is what I sent you, so it's kind of has the granulation and so on and so forth. That's a great question, Tom. No idea. I know somebody tried to run it and see if they could get any metadata on it, and all they say is that it actually that the file that it's part of was created in 2018. So I was like, all right, this is probably real. So I started looking to see if I could prove whether I thought it was real, not real. Gray Hughes has talked about it. At this point, I only know of 3 social media people who've received them. Snay from Delphi After Dark, murder, my gosh, why can't I not think? I wanted to call him a murder spreadsheet. Murder sheet. And Gray Hughes. Now, I'm hearing that there are others, but I don't know any of them by name. Where'd you guys go? I lost you. I know, I wanted to call a murder spreadsheet for a second. Well, hi, T. It's not actually. They're not nude. So they're well, one, as we obviously know now, has Libby's clothes on, and the other one, being Libby, it is blacked out. So they're not nude, number one, and they are crime scene photos. Now, are they actual photos of the crime scene? I'm leaning towards yes. Obviously, I don't have all the factual information behind it. I don't have them. So I can't tell you anything about them besides what I've heard and what I've researched. This is it. That's all I got for you at this point. We do know that you think it could be Libby's handprint. That's interesting. I mean, we do know it's Libby's blood. They tested it and it is Libby's blood. That this is Libby's blood. You guys remember Barbara McDonald went on Court TV. So I was playing around with it in the editor, and this is not my forte. I am not that person, but I just thought it was interesting because I was like, I can kind of see this now that I'm actually comparing it, that it would have some similarities to that dotted thing that she showed. So if you see, it has the weird hook. It has the weird hook up right here. And it has the same as the top. Let me see if I open it, if you guys can see the bottom. Oh, you can't. I zoomed in too much on it. But down here on the bottom, it has like those two little marks. The only thing that doesn't make sense to me then is like this weird spatter or marking right here. But Gray Hughes made a good point. He was like, if they put like luminol all over it or blue star all over it, then maybe they have an entirely different pattern. Hey, Share Bear. Hey, Bridge Burner. So this was my thought. Then if they did, then this would be more accurate. And so I know Gray talks about that there isn't anything right here, but if it is from Blue Star, then it would make sense that it is there. And also, if you see, have you guys ever like played around with trees like this, like where you are putting stuff on them? Like I've painted trees. I know that sounds silly, but it was for a project. And you do, your finger kind of would bump over that little segment. It would have like a little bump, and it wouldn't have the same smoothness, the same texture to it. So I do think that there could be something there. And I also find this thing right here interesting. Let me see if I can zoom it back out though. So you guys can see the bottom part, because it does make sense there too. Down here on this part, right down here. Now if we move this up, it has that mark. So then that makes it so it goes right on top of that little hook thing, and the little marks down here on the bottom are the same. So those two little marks on the tree, and then it's got the two little marks on the paper. And then she's got, like, from her drawing thing, she has some odds and ends stuff over here off to the left. It makes sense to me that this would be the information that Barbara McDonald got. Oh, you're fine. So I can see just barely how it would match. Like if you took like wax paper and had to put it over it and like make a sketch of it. Shouldn't paint the trees. It was for a school project to help save the trees. Yeah, I know that people are like, oh, it could be anything. I see the F, and this goes to, like, do we see the F because we're told it was an F and now we see the F kind of thing? I mean, it's pretty, that's the more prominent mark is the F. And then if you look at just like the prominent parts of it, it's got two little asterisk things here and two little asterisk things here. I wondered, not asterisk, like quotation marks almost. So I wondered about that. Like it's like 2 and then 2. Now, is it just somebody leaning up against a tree? That line right there is pretty damn straight for somebody just leaning up a tree. Now, did they intentionally write an F? I don't know. Maybe they just wrote a letter. Maybe they're writing something completely different. Maybe they're drawing something completely different. I don't know. But I think whatever it is intentional, is the bottom line of how I feel about it. And I think it is real. So I wanted to show you guys those two things. I do think it's real. And I do think that that is also the diagram that Barbara McDonald had. I also find it really interesting, though, that if you look at the actual rune symbols, the F for Odin actually points down. This one, the one that points up, I'm almost positive was for like wealth. Hey, Scotty Skulls. Disregard that spatter rendering. It's the same pattern, copy and pasted multiple times, turned to different directions and different sizes. Pick it apart. You'll see what I mean. It's made up. I think it's just a generalization of whatever this is. Like, you know, like I said, like if you just kind of like try to loosely trace something, because I don't think that You're not getting 2 spots in each of these unless it's just a reproduction. But I can see where they got it from. You know what I mean? Hey, Sniper. Sorry, off topic, but do you have a major issue with the LEO, the defense accused of falsifying testimony and evidence? The same when investigating the leak. Timing of leak stinks to me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Sniper. We're going to get there, too. Oh, yeah. I have a real issue. I have a real issue with it. Yes, Crime Sleuth, and I agree. And that's the one that goes up. It's the F that goes up. And I'm almost positive it's like wealth. So that's that. I think it's real. I think that it was done intentionally. Is it an actual F? I don't know. Does it mean Odin? Doubtful, since it doesn't actually match what the Odin rune would be. But here we are with it anyway. So there you have that. Now, I want to talk about the leaks. Leaks have been happening in this case forever. This isn't new. We've gotten leaked text messages from David Erskine, leaked text messages from Eric Williams, leaked messages all over the place. But what I specifically want to focus on is the leaked information since Richard Allen has been arrested. Now, they say that this is not the defense's first issue. They were that the judge was already upset because they made the big statement, at the very beginning when they very first took on the case, and they said that we don't think he's guilty. We think he's innocent. Do you guys remember that statement? I have it somewhere. So they were already pissed off about this. And I'm not going to go read through it, but I can link it for you guys if you haven't seen it. So then there's something else that happened like 8 months ago-ish, and we got the photos that we've been looking at, that I actually finally found the ones that are not watermarked, the ones of all the stuff in the water. And then people were like, no, they're not real. No, they're not real. No, they're not real. I don't know. For me, I always thought they were real because she was wearing black Nike shoes and a tie-dyed shirt. It didn't make sense. Like I guess somebody could have just gone and put them in the water to make it look like that. But the metadata shows that these were taken at 11:13 in the morning. Now, if the searchers are on, we're going to go back to the searchers now. The searchers are on the south side. Hey, Sean, Becky told me she just wants to know the truth about what really happened that day. Well, hell yeah, I bet she does. She said like that. She's had all the family and the friends have had years of look this direction, but we're really looking over here. Look that direction. Now we're going to look over here. And I don't think the families know shit about shit. And I think they were told certain things and then told they weren't allowed to say them. Because, like, I have an issue. I mean, I shouldn't say an issue. I more have a question and an issue if it is true. Like, was Becky told a long time ago? Not even just Becky. Anybody told a long time ago that Abby was found wearing Libby's jeans? And then did anybody ever change the fact that for 6.5 years, everybody thought that Libby had on sweatpants? And here's the thing. Libby having on sweatpants or jeans is not relevant to the public. I get it. The girls had been found missing people. We don't need to know what the girls are wearing. I get it. But it's just weird. Like, were they even told that? Were the families told that? That's what I want to know. So now John, or gosh darn, I can't even think. JJ, who's on the south side, supposedly finds the shoe. And if you listen to the clip from Kelsey, which I already played, I wonder if I could grab that again. I played this before. Kelsey said they yelled up the hill, and she was over here by the police cars. Let me grab you the map again. Where did I lose my map at? Sons of bitches. All right, let me grab my map again. She was over by the police cars on the south side also. And she says they yelled up the hill and said what kind of shoes were the girls wearing, and that they had found a black Nike. And she said, yeah, that's Libby's shoe. In another interview, she says, and I'm not quoting it perfectly, I know, but she says, I knew there was something wrong because they found my sister's shoe. So he supposedly sees the shoe on the south side. The photos of the shoe are supposedly taken by the south side search crew. Now stay with me on this. If the photos are taken on the south side by that search crew at 11:13, she then states shortly after they found the girls. So there's the huge controversy on the 11:15 to 12:15 time frame. The cops have told us forever that the girls were found at 12:15. Right? So here, so Kelsey was over here with by the police vehicle. And I don't have the exact location of where they found the shoe, so I just kind of put it down. This is down the hill, down that hill anyway. And they yell up, and she says, yeah, that's my sister's shoe. And then she says they find the girls shortly after. Like, she's still in the same area when they find the girls over here. So supposedly the girls, according to Kelsey, are found very quickly after the shoe is found. If that's true, and the photos are taken from 11, 13 in the morning, that's what the metadata shows on those photos is 11:13, then when were the girls found? Okay, Anna, no problem. So this is another question I have. If you guys can figure out this answer for me, I would very much appreciate it, because it just doesn't make any sense. Because remember, he's zooming in on his phone. He's zooming in on his phone, and he sees the shoes, and he looks up, and he sees the deer, and then he sees the girls. Tom, that's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering. But now we're going to go to another issue. If you go to the helicopter footage supposedly captures all of this search stuff, right? Shoe guy pick is the same tornado? I don't know. Supposedly, yes. But if you go to the helicopter footage, they supposedly are cutting part of the footage, and then I cannot find, to save my life. If you guys know where this is, send it to me, or let me know where to find it. The dispatch audio, but it's for later that night. It's not for during the day. It's for later that night. Not the one I played on here where they're talking about finding the underwear and that they need more evidence bags. Not that one. The one from later that night when they're talking about the keys. I cannot find it. So I'm wondering if they found the girls at approximately 11:15, by the time they call in the other people, you get the actual investigators over there who start clocking it at 12. Investigators get there and start clocking it at 12:15. An hour later, I don't know. It's the only thing I can come up with. Yeah, supposedly Cleveland, they were. Dustin, where can I find it though? Like, I know you've done a lot of research on this case, but I don't know where to find that info. Yeah, you'll never figure out anything exactly. The killer was carrying things in his jacket and jeans to put at the crime scene. Plus, he had a gun, a knife, and other weapons on him. Oh, totally premeditated, without a doubt. Now, I don't know if he went there to hurt these girls in particular, or if it was a crime of quote unquote opportunity, but yet pre-planned, which we know like a predator is looking for prey, plans out everything, but doesn't actually pick the prey yet. We don't know. I don't know. I haven't been fully sold any which way on that. Okay. So back to the leaked info, back to the leaked stuff. I'm going to play a little bit of what Rick has to say when he was on the Drunk Turkey show about the crime scene.
Like purple in the eyes and the face, and that's probably upside down, right? Yeah.
They were both kind of pale. Very pale.
Gotcha.
I
Very pale.
listened to almost everything.
I believe they would be, because from what we read is that they were drained pretty good amount of their blood out of their body. So they wouldn't have the normal swelling that normally bodies would. They wouldn't bleed from the orifices as much. They would still, but not as much as they were bled like the documents say they were.
Yeah, so exactly the blood. What did the ground look like around them? Was it covered in leaves? Were there sticks? Were there dirt? What was the ground like?
Leaves.
There was leaves, so you would have been able to tell if they dragged them anywhere. And was there any sign of that?
Oh,
so no sign of dragging. Did you see the ruin that is alleged to look like an F?
Yeah.
All right. Let me pull this up real quick.
And I think they said that they cut that part of the tree out, right? And it's not there no more visible.
I don't know. I thought they didn't, that they left it there.
Oh, or maybe they took an imprint of it.
Maybe it's a little further.
Did the F you saw on the tree, did it resemble this accurately? Or okay.
Who is the lead Indiana State Police detective that's working on the case?
Yeah. Got you. And you could see the sticks that were aligned on the bodies. Did it appear that they were purposefully put and placed in the position that they were, or did it look more random?
Definitely. There's no way there was anything random about it.
Gotcha. Now, you had mentioned that, or also the paperwork from the defense mentions how clean Abby was. What would you didn't see? I'm assuming there was no blood on her clothes, because I know she was wearing Libby's clothes. Is that correct?
She was wearing Libby's jeans and hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
So Delphi swimming, I think.
Got you. And there was
both
like
Snay and Gray say that she was wearing the Delphi swimming sweatshirt.
an asterisk symbol, which is a ruin on her. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of on the left shoulder, maybe.
Gotcha. And so did you see the horns that supposedly were about Abby?
I saw that the sticks that I saw looked more like antenna than horns. They were thin and long, and one of them was like kind of leaning over to the side. Yeah, this is a very inaccurate photo here.
This is very inaccurate.
Yeah, really inaccurate, because
we know Abby's actually over
it's
here.
only showing the main sticks that were on there. Libby was on the right, not the left. Abby's at more of almost like a 90-degree angle. But they both were kind of framed with larger branches. So
really,
I think it's fair. You guys, I know that there's people who are not Rick Snay fans, and I get it. But I do believe that he has seen the photos, and I do believe his description is fairly accurate. And that's just a trust that I have to put into the situation. If you choose not to, I respect it. I absolutely do. I know everybody has their own taste in people, and I just don't judge for it. So I don't have history. Like I've said before, I am not a quote unquote Delphi creator. My channel isn't based on Delphi, the Delphi case. I don't know all of these people, and I don't know all their history and that. So I don't mean this rude. I just don't. I'm not friends with any of them. They're not friends with me. So it just doesn't. It really isn't irrelevant. I want the information.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird looking.
And which branch was the one that looked like it had been cut by a circular saw or something? Was it one of the framed, or was it one of the ones that were placed in the body?
It was one of the ones that was. Let me see if I have any notes on that. I think it was one of the ones that was on Libby. You could just see the end of it.
And he states that he deleted them. Basically, I think anybody else is saying
that's why I've heard some people talking about it, and they said, well, there were no sticks that looked like they had been cut. Well, then you didn't see the crime scene photos, because there is a stick that looks like it was definitely cut.
And the branches, which one would you say was the largest, and how big would it have been?
The one that was on the left side of Libby was probably the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say it was maybe a big around.
Oh, wow. That's big.
Longer than Libby.
Gotcha.
At least over 5 foot.
Yeah.
So outside of the one that was cut by a saw, do you think any of those branches or sticks or whatever they were they all brought to the scene, or do you think majority of them were found at the scene?
I think that for what they needed them to be, I think they probably would have brought them with them, but they could have been found at the scene. I can't rule that out.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was carrying the sticks. I don't think that there's somebody who's like, all right, all those sticks that we cut at home, let's bring them with. Let's bring them with today. That makes no sense to me. It's more plausible to me that somebody cut them there. Most likely it's just somebody who'd already cut it, and that's just one of the branches that they found. Otherwise, why are you only cutting one stick? Why didn't you cut all of them? If it's that important and has that much meaning behind it, I think that you've cut all your sticks and brought them. You're not like, this one special stick is the one I'm bringing. That just is weird to me. Who knows, maybe. Yeah, so somebody's asking about the leaves, and this is my comment on the leaves. The crime scene photos, we don't know their sequence. We don't know that the girls were not covered in leaves, and then the leaves, and then photos taken of the girls. And I don't mean covered. I don't even mean like covered. I mean like having leaves whatsoever, any type of leaves, whatever amount you want to think that there was there. We don't know there wasn't, because they could have taken crime scene photos of the girls with the leaves. They could swipe away the leaves, pull them away, pull them away, pull them away, take more crime scene pictures as this is happening. And then what is being leaked is now another layer of crime scene photos. So what we know from the people who have seen them, like I said, I have not seen any of these. So I can't give you anything accurate. I can only give you my opinion on stuff when it comes to this, because I'd have no factual basis behind it. So, but the photos that are leaked easily could be down the line of evidence photos. We don't know that they're the evidence photos that were taken first, is all I'm going to say. So don't rule out that there might have been leaves. Don't let that go yet. We just don't know.
Right. And did any of the?
Yeah.
I thought I had heard that Libby had leaves on her. Was that accurate?
No.
No leaves. Okay. And
you don't think any of the crime scene photos were released? So you think? I'm not sure I believe that. I do think the crime scene photos were released. That's not the first crime scene photos that have been released. So we've had multiple different mini releases of crime scene and defense and prosecution information. So I lean more towards that. I do believe that they're released. And then if they weren't, you'd have to have a group of people who all go, we're going to say we got these photos, we're going to work together, and we're going to get the views that way. Now, I don't know if you guys are overly familiar with Gray Hughes, but I don't think he's a very good faker. I don't think that he doesn't really like Rick Snay. I don't think that he's going to be like, Rick Snay, like, let's get in on this, and we're going to go together, and we're going to say what we found, or what we pretended we got these photos, and then we're going to say that they look pretty much identical to what the other one says, because they both almost have the exact same description. Now, they're probably watching each other, so take that for what you want. But I just don't see them being like the cahoots behind the scenes. I just don't see Gray doing that. Gray, I just think that Gray would be like, fuck you guys, and I'm going to do my own shit. I don't care. And I don't know if I just don't, I don't see that he's going to say that he has some crime scene photos that he doesn't have. Not that I think that these are all the most honest people in the whole world. I'm not saying that, but I don't know. That's just how I feel. He does have a big ego. He does. But it would be very weird that they would be like cahooting behind the scenes, like to say we have the same description of these weird crime scene photos. I don't know. Well, I don't know if it matters what time that they drop it, because we're going to run with it regardless, right? I mean, that's kind of, we want new information. My bigger issue, I trust his info. I just don't. He gets locked in, and then he will change. He will change his mind with proof, but he gets so locked in that he calls everybody else idiots. And I've noticed that Rick has done that too. And I'm not a big fan of that, because like you guys know, I'm okay with whatever your opinion is. I don't want to, I don't know. I feel that it feels kind of bullyish to me. And I'm like, I'm not going to go around. You guys, you're so fucking stupid for thinking this and that. And I'm like, no, keep thinking outside the box, try new things, see what happens. I can't just sit here and just call people stupid for having a different opinion than me. I can't do it.
And there was no.
Now, I would say if I could physically show you proof, like my shirt is purple, and then you're going to sit there and go, your shirt's not purple, your shirt is blue, or whatever. Shit, it does have blue in it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to argue about something stupid factual, then I might say you're stupid, but I don't. Just like theories about a case, it's too much for me. I can't do that. I can't fight with everybody about it. Because I'm telling you, the next case, we're going to agree, and then we're going to be like, why were we ever fighting before? We like love each other now because we totally agree on this case. It's just dumb. So anyway, let's go back to this.
No blood underneath her either? On the floor?
No. On her hands and face, and then like drips on the body, but that was it.
Mm-hmm. So, I find interesting the most out of the defense's statements about who possibly involved is Elvis Fields. He made some statements that are
okay. So he basically moved on from here. So I want to show you guys these two pictures which is what my whole point about the Gray Hughes, Rick Snay, both seeing the photos and why I think they're real, is a lot because, like I said, we've seen so many other photos get leaked. It's not new to have leaked images from this case or almost any case. Now, the question is, did I actually save them to be able to show you guys? That's the greatest question that there always is, because I'm like, oh, I want to show them this. I want to show them that. I'm still here. Just give me 1 second. Oh, thank you, Shebe, for sending that. I appreciate it. I will take a listen to that. And then... just where did I put them? That's like the $1 million question around here. Okay, here's one. And let me put that up on the screen for you. So this was Gray Hughes yesterday, who basically used his programs to kind of recreate what he thought that the pictures looked like. And then here is Rick Snay's version of what he thinks the picture, or what he remembered the pictures to look like. Now, come on, you stupid thing, move. There we go. See, I'll call my computer stupid. Okay, there we go. They're very, very similar for two people who don't talk to each other very much or get along. Has Tom Webster weighed in on the crime scene photos? I would trust Tom. You know what? That's a great question. I actually don't know. Right. The crime scene is huge, and they had it taped off from the bridge over. Right. How are we, as the public, whom have very limited info, supposed to know what the truth is and what actually happened when it's blatantly obvious that Ellie has absolutely no clue either? Right. Right. So this is the generalization of what both men who, and people are giving both of them a really hard time about sharing what they saw in the photos. They could have shown the photos, and for me, I'm thankful that they showed us this so that we could have a better idea of what they were looking at instead of just showing everybody the photos. So this, for me personally, I appreciate this. And I know, like I said, people are giving them a hard time for even talking about it. Yeah, I do. I like Tom Webster. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And I don't see them. Those are not two people that I see going, okay, yeah, let's collab and come up with this idea. I just don't think so. That's just my opinion. So, okay. So they have they basically essentially have almost the exact same thing. They got the three little branches, so on and so forth. They got this little branch here, and then they got the one that goes up. You got this one here, goes up. Now, is one copying the other? I don't know. I didn't even go back to see who talked about it first to even try to go down that rabbit hole. So if you guys want to do that, have at it. Once again, I agree totally, Crime Sleuth. It's intentional. Whatever this is, whether it's rune mimicking or whatever this is intentional. This is not thrown over them to try to hide them. It doesn't even make any sense at this point. There's a structure here, and it's almost like they actually have somewhat of the same structure with the bigger stick here, and this side is supposed to have an asterisk. I know that, and I think he has that on his, because that's what they say that like Court TV did it where the asterisk is right in the middle, and everybody's saying no, that's not true. The asterisk is actually on Abby's left arm. And so it's almost like it's the same symbol, but just the sticks that they used, some had different little odds and ends branches. So my thought is, once again, no idea if it actually is a freaking rune. If it is a rune, what the hell it means. But I am of the mindset that it is intentional, and not to just try to hide the bodies. That's my thought. Robert Ives was the original prosecutor, who left at the end of 2017. He's the one, we listened to him the other day, and he's the one who talks about how the crime scene was odd. And then he kind of covers for himself and he says, well, all crime scenes are odd, but like this one was just odd. Like it had 2 to 3 signatures. 2 to 3 signatures. I'm sticking with these YouTubers seeing why way too much, and don't have the authority to show anything as it's an open case. So I do want to kind of talk about that a little bit, because I know that there's like let me actually go timeline wise, and then we'll get there before I talk about it. So there's a gentleman that's in the Facebook groups, and he's the one who posted the tree photo in like every single group. I think I saw it in any Delphi group I was in, it was there. You can hear Robert Ives' interview. I played part of it, but he is on episode 5 of Down the Hill podcast. And then there's also a separate interview that I'm going to play when we get back to the investigators. And if you just type in Robert Ives on YouTube, it'll come up. It almost looks like it's an old school interview. Like the film is like old looking. So, so there's the guy who posts the tree photo all over, and he's like, hey, this is the tree. And the people are like, how do you have that? That's not really the tree. And then it just turns into like clusterfuck, and that's where we end up. What's going on in here? Hey, you. I don't even know anymore. What's going on in here. I have so many questions. We're just talking about all the craziness from this case from this weekend and what everything happened. Yeah, so is the 3... Well, I don't know, because you also have to remember, Jeannie, is there the signature, why is she dressed And why is Libby nude? And why does she have blood on her hands and sprinkled on her? What about the R person unaliving? Yeah. So we're gonna get there. Okay, so he puts this tree picture out all over social media, and people are like, oh my gosh, I totally believe it. Other people are like, no, that's totally fake, and so on and so forth. And then there comes this whole weird, like 8 weeks before the actual document, the 136 page document came out, like 6 or 8 weeks before that, the same person had posted a whole bunch of other stuff that was supposedly being leaked, and nobody really knew where the leak was from. And now I'm here, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong on this, because did anyone? I have not. No, I have not seen them. Defense diaries. The only ones I know that are saying they saw them is Rick Snay from Delphi After Dark, Gray Hughes from Gray Hughes Investigates, and Murder Sheet Podcast. So backing up, so there's supposedly this big old leak that's happened, and this person is sharing. Let me see if I grab those for us. This person is sharing information from the defense, supposedly. Now, is it accurate? Once again, I'm not going to say because I don't actually know. So let me pull them up for you. This whole list of what's happening with the defense and their evidence. There's a few of these, so hold on. Now, it just says like thumb drive map. It talks about what evidence they have. Like his 2008 Ford Focus is empty. The 2011 Ford Focus is empty. 2016 Ford Focus is empty. Alan's motorcycle is empty. So I don't even know how I would interpret all of this. Let me show you some of the other ones. So this pops up. This is before that. And then there's another guy. So we have, that's M, right? Now we're going to have B. And B is saying that back in like April, the defense sent him a thumb drive that he wasn't supposed to have, or a file that he wasn't supposed to have, that had all the stuff from Delphi in it. Now take all this shit for a grain of salt, do whatever you want with it. I'm just trying to lead you up to a certain point that I actually want to talk to you about. So all of this is happening. And then there's shit. There's this one. So there's all of these different ones that are coming out that supposedly have all of the defense information regarding evidence. Let me come back to you guys so I can see what you're saying. Hey, Chrissy. Okay, so posing is what somebody would do to the bodies per se. So putting their arms and things like that in a certain position. Now, staging is different. Staging is what somebody would do to a crime scene in order to send law enforcement in an opposite direction. The easiest example of it is I murdered my husband and I make my house look like somebody broke in and attacked me and murdered my husband, even though I'm the one who really did it. I staged the crime scene to look like a break-in. So we know that this crime scene there is posing. We know there's posing because the girls were moved from one area to another. That's pretty much a consensus between the prosecution, investigators, and the defense. So we're going to say, yeah, they all agree the girls were moved, which means they were posed. Now, if you had to stage it, If I am not a ritual person, I am not an odinist, I am not any of those things, and I try to make the scene look like it was a satanic sacrifice ritual, then I'm staging it. But now, if I am actually an odinist, satanic ritual, sacrificial type person, I'm not staging it. It's just part of my my modus operandi, basically. That's what I do. So we don't know if it's technically staged because we don't know who the perpetrator is. Now, if it's Richard Allen, who's not an odinist, and he goes in there and creates runes and all these symbols, then we go, okay, it's also staged because he tried to make law enforcement look at it like it was staged. Like it was, he tried to make law enforcement look at it like it was odinist or whomever. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So anyway, okay, so we have this leak. I don't know. I don't know, Inspector Gadget. Maybe he did. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in quite a long time. And he blocked me on his channel, or his mods did. So I don't watch it anymore. It is what it is. So we have these 8 weeks before all this information is coming out. And back in April, we supposedly have some dude who has a thumb drive, right? So that's where I'm at. So now we get to this weekend, and it comes out that there is a Murder Sheet podcast puts out a podcast and essentially states that there is a person named R who used to work for the defense team, no longer works for the defense team, who is communicating with M. And it sends M all of these photos from the crime scene. M then contacts Murder Sheet, and Murder Sheet goes to the prosecutors. Now, I have a huge issue with all of this. I can't even begin to tell you how many issues I have with all of this. Oh, yeah, Anthony Greeno is a YouTuber, and he runs True Crime Investigates. He used to live in Delphi. I don't know if he still does or not. So he was from around there. He went to a lot of the hearings and stuff back in the day. Like I think he went to like Keegan Klein's and stuff like that. So I have a huge issue with all of this because where else would this information be coming from that's being posted all over social media 8 weeks before, up until April of this year, or back till April of this year? We've had all these weird leaks. We've gotten the photos from the crime scene with the sock and the tie-dye shirt and the Nike shoe, right? So we have those pictures. We have these, whatever these are, of the notes supposedly of the defense strategy. We have, I don't even know if it's or just evidence in general. I don't even know if it actually ties to the defense. I think I just read that on the post that it was attached to. I'll have to go back and look at it. Where'd it go? So we have all this coming out. Then all of a sudden, a week and a half ago, we get the picture of the tree. Then we get, now these other crime scene photos are being leaked. So is this R person the one who's leaked everything? Is this R person really even the person who gave them to M? Because now we have to believe, and you guys, if you know me at all, I have a hard time with this. I'm not going to just blanket believe you just because. But the Murder Sheet is like, oh no, we saw all these messages between R and M. And I'm like, okay, well, where are these messages? Because I want to see them. I want to know for myself whether R actually did any of this stuff. Because what ends up happening is last Wednesday, R ultimately commits suicide. Now, how that ties into being a leaker, no idea. Supposedly, and this is once again all this hearsay bullshit that's out there, is when they were trying to figure out who this leak was, they were getting closer and closer, and then that's why he did it. And I'm like, how does anybody even know that that's why he did it? The dude served like 4 tours in like Afghanistan. I don't know if all of them were in Afghanistan, but I don't know. I need way more to be able to tie all this together, and not just say that it's not possible. I just need more for proof behind all of that to show this stuff's been coming out for a long time. Where is it actually coming from? Is there more than one? Yeah, I'm struggling with it. I'm struggling with why they're even involved in it to begin with. There's a whole thing that comes to like we're asking everybody to not talk about this, and then we're gonna make a podcast to talk about it. And I don't know these people. I don't have anything against them. That really makes me go, wait a minute. You literally just told everybody not to talk about these photos, and let's all do the right thing and rally the troops and everybody go and delete them, and we're going to rise against evil. And then we make a podcast and talk about them. I do not agree with that, because essentially what you did is you made it so you're the only one who can have the information and talk about it. That's problematic for me. And that makes me go, why do you want to be the one who has the information and make sure everybody else deletes it, doesn't talk about it, gets rid of it, so on? And yes, I struggle with that. Now, you went to the prosecutors or the investigators. Great. But you went to the investigators that are legit being called into question about their ethics and their ability to do their job ethically. Why in the world would anybody trust them to give this information to? Now, I'm sorry, I find it very odd in the timing of this whole thing that the defense comes out with this memorandum. Oh, that's what I was saying earlier. Supposedly this memorandum was leaked. I'm pretty sure it was just filed, but somebody tell me if I'm wrong on that. I thought it was just filed and we downloaded it from the actual like documents. But now there's this whole thing that there's a leak with the 136 and it wasn't meant to go public. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look more into that because I don't know one way or the other. But so the 136-page document comes out and basically says, yeah, it was filed, right? Yeah, they're trying to say it was leaked and like the defense did something else unethical and leaked it. And like how unethical this defense team is. So they released this 136-page document. Everybody who talks or knows anything about Delphi is talking about it. And all of a sudden, we have these weird affidavits coming out. Well, anybody who believed that this was the 136-page memorandum was garbage was like, yay, go prosecution. We totally trust law enforcement. You guys are all great. And then the documents come out where the affidavits are like, oh no, we totally do wear Odin patches, even though we're not actually, doesn't mean we're Odinists, just, we're heathens, and so, this is different. And, this whole verbiage of one-on-one, and like nobody gives a shit about your one-on-one. Nobody's accusing you of anything one-on-one. We're accusing you of being a duo and tormenting the shit out of this guy. So now the prosecution has a lot of freaking egg on their face, because now even half the people who were believing that this memorandum was garbage are going, wait a minute, like Vinnie Politan, who's like, his face is just like, I can't even believe this. Like, this is unreal. This isn't even normal. So so now all half of those people are like, wait a minute. We end up with a leak of crime scene photos that just so happens to tie back to the defense team. Because I'm going to say right now, with the memorandum, the prosecution's own words in their motions and the affidavits of those guards and that warden The defense is winning. They're already on the winning side right now. They're swaying public opinion. They're getting more people on their side. And now they're going to be like, oh, yeah, let's go leak some crime scene photos. Now, I don't believe that. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe they just didn't quit while they were ahead. And they're like, no, we're going to go continue to show people that we're telling the truth, and people. Yes, Sniper. Yes, they did. No, you're right. No, this is the gatekeeping that I'm talking about. I have an issue with. Yeah, Mark R.M. was mad at Court TV because of Barbara McDonald being on there, and Barbara McDonald giving up the F on the tree with just the weird little dots and stuff. And he said, I want to show you guys the real tree so you guys actually know. So then this is where I'm coming from. Now, how does M have this photo? How does M release that? How does M release all of this stuff that's over here that I haven't even gone through to understand? Releases all of this. And then there's also the rumor that M put out Libby's autopsy report. I have no proof of that. I have not found that yet. But I got an issue with M right now, because in my opinion, M is the one who's posting all of this. So let's say that R used to work for them, and R sent all this stuff to M. I have to ask you guys to put on your critical thinking caps right now. And if Rick Snay says, I have a picture of the crime scene that somebody took from their phone, with their phone of their computer screen, right? So it has that blurry. Why is the picture of the F tree so clear on Facebook photos? If they're all from the same batch of photos, why isn't this one taken from a computer screen? Yeah, they are pissed. This is total speculation, in my opinion only. The prosecutors are pissed, and the investigators are pissed that all of that stuff in the memorandum came out. Not only does it come out, but now look, they're over there re-interviewing people. They're being called liars because of the professor. They're going back and giving freaking Patrick Westphal a polygraph in August. I mean, it's a disaster for them. They are pissed at this defense team. So what better way to get rid of the defense team than to show that they're unethical in all their unethical ways? Let me see, but it's going to hold. Someone on defense knew the Odinism idea was BS and wanted to show the defense were playing loose. See, I disagree. I think that if it was the defense that put it out, they were they didn't know where to stop kind of thing. Or it just happened to be somebody who used to work for the defense, like the narrative that is being put out there right now. Some rando guy used to work for the defense, had the file, and was like, hey, guys, on Facebook groups, I think you're really cool, and I'm going to send you the stuff that I have. Yeah. I don't think they are. But what perfect way to throw you don't like these defense attorneys, so let's get rid of them. Sniper, I'm in agreement. He has, yes. But I think that they are describing the scene as they see it. And because I think it's going together, you know, I think that you're not the only one, but I think that people in general are cutting off what they see. So when you have, like, imagine we're the defense attorney and we're going through all these filings, and nobody's ever told us in any of these motions, documents, any of this stuff, that they ever even looked at this Odinism stuff. And we start randomly seeing little pieces of it. And we're like, okay, here's that piece. Let's see if they followed up. Oh, nothing. Oh, wait, they interviewed this guy. Okay, let's look for the video for that. Oh, there's nothing. And then as they keep trying to dig out information, it's all missing. So they go and they keep digging and they're like, there's nothing here. Why is this all not here? Why would this whole part of an investigation essentially be cut off without any conclusion? And they go, well, I don't know. Let's look into it and figure it out. Then they look at the crime scene photos and they start seeing things. And I'll tell you, I don't know if they actually went, oh my gosh, the whole crime scene is Odinistic. But I think that what they happen upon is the original investigators are like, wait a minute, we need to look at Odinism here. And they're like, oh shit, now the defense team's like, we need to look at Odinism here. And they start digging, and this is where they end up. Now, I don't know if, I don't necessarily agree that the runes they're saying are the runes that are there. But I definitely see the path of something being really off with this crime scene. And I think everybody has since the beginning. And when they needed it to be simplified, they just got rid of that and made it go away. The initial leak, well, we know that here, I'll tell you. The original photos from the water, let me look. I'll tell you a date. It was probably around that April-ish time frame. But let me get you a closer date. $8 months ago? 8 months. It looks about 8 months ago. So take it for what you want. Yo, totally butthurt. No. So this is the other thing, and I'm glad you're actually here, Bob, because this would be a very simple thing for you to answer. Leaking of actual crime scene photos. Now let's just, they can consider that it would be something unethical, but the crime scene photos themselves are evidence. The actual photos are not, I mean, there are states that you can get the photos long before trial. Florida used to, they'd give you anything. It didn't matter if there was trial or not trial. Like, nobody cared. You wanted the crime scene photos, you got it. Like, here it is. So I don't think the crime scene photos themselves are relevant. It's the ethical duty and responsibility that, if anything, they'd get like a slap on the wrist. But once again, I'm not even clear on the fact that this was them doing it. Yeah. See, I like that. They're just, it's evidence. So it will not change the outcome of the trial, is kind of what I'm thinking. Like, it doesn't, us seeing the photos or not seeing the photos before Richard Allen goes to trial doesn't change what happens at the trial. What they would want to do is try to say, look, they tainted a jury pool. Look at all, it's unethical. But the photos themselves are ultimately irrelevant. Yeah, media is reporting it, and they're all coming back. Murder Sheet podcast investigated. And I'm like, they're not even investigators. They're not investigators. They're not, and they're entrusting that information to the people that the defense is saying are corrupt. And the defense hasn't even had a chance to, whether you think they're corrupt or not, the defense hasn't had a chance to go in front of Judge Gall and prove why they believe that they're unethical and not trustworthy. Well, I don't believe that she would, because as of right now, she's planning on a trial come January. If she replaces the attorneys, then they have to find new attorneys that would actually be able to represent him. And then they would have to postpone the trial for those attorneys to get caught up with it. And you're talking more of a shit show. And it's not that those attorneys can't talk to the other attorneys. They can. I mean, so like the evidence is still going to be there. It's still going to be the evidence. If anything, they would get like a slap on the wrist, in my opinion. They'd get like a harsh finger shaken. I just don't see them. Yes, I don't see that either. I find it so odd that after all these years, all of a sudden they are released after defense gives another theory. That's what I'm saying. They either just didn't know when to quit because they were already ahead. There was really no reason for them to do. There's no reason for them to do it. So in my opinion, it is just some random scrub who used to work with them, who had the information, which I still think is weird. If the person doesn't work for you anymore, you would go and take back what they had, but then what they saved it. I don't know. That's just the timing of all of that is very conspicuous to me. Why in the world, if this is the same leak as before, why not send them out before? Why wait till now? Oh, yeah. Talk about massive appeals. I'm seeing it more so every day, Dustin. More so every day. Right. And the guy supposedly doesn't even work for the defense anymore. It gets me in a lot of trouble, T. It gets me in a lot of trouble. There are lawyers from small town Indiana. If we can't trust Ellie from small town Indiana, then why do we trust lawyers from there? Because I am a trustworthy person of all law enforcement. And if you would have said 6.5 years ago, like, do you trust Liggett? Do you trust Lesenby? Do you trust Holman? I would have said yes, because my initial part is that I do believe that people join law enforcement and things like that because they do truly want to make a difference. Things happen, and it's such a political mess in law enforcement that you may be swayed to do things you don't want to do, and there's nobody to tell, especially in places that are small communities like that. And I don't mean to say that they were all corrupt when they joined. There's some that just don't have a choice. It's like if you're in the military and your superior officer gives you an order, that's just how it is. You may be the one who has to live with what you did, but they're the ones responsible for it. I think a lot of small towns are because it's so personalized. And you just don't have anywhere else to go. So like if that cop wants to stand up for themselves and for what they quote unquote think is right, they could be really screwed. It could damage their entire family. All their livelihood. I told you guys the story about my dad. And my dad was a cop up in Rockford, Illinois for a long time and in that area. And they wanted him. They subpoenaed him to testify against another cop. And he knew what the other cop did was bad. He knew it was really bad. But he also knew if he testified, he was done. His career was over. That was it. He wasn't going to go anywhere, even though he knew the guy was bad and was wrong. So if humans are involved, there's corruption. You can't trust anyone. Five-year wait doesn't give one confidence in this LE. Well, and there are changes, Patricia. Like, oh no, look at this guy. Oh no, wait, look at this guy. Oh no, wait. We think it's a merge of the two guys. And yet we have a whole nother sketch out there, and probably more. Now that I'm realizing how many more witnesses there really are, I'm thinking there's probably even more quote unquote sketches or descriptions of people. And I can't wait for trial when the defense is like, hey, you guy that was in the couple that saw the person coming out of the weeds, what did he look like? What was he wearing? You know what I mean? This is going to be outrageous. Yeah, they quote unquote lost the statement for 5 years. And the guy who gave, oh my gosh, freaking Dan Doolin, the guy who took Richard Allen's statement is standing on the stage the 22nd and doesn't recognize the person that they're showing. Doesn't recognize who that is. Doesn't go, hey, I interviewed a guy who said he was there. We're in that same thing. No, Dan Doolin does not recognize that at all. Doesn't notice it. Awkward. Yeah, doesn't have a clue. And then, wait, in July of 2022, his son gets a scholarship from Tobe Lesenby. Yay, look, we found the tip. I don't know. There's a lot of timing issues here that I'm just like, what the fudge is really going on? John Grisham has a new book coming out. It should be on this because this is like a damn movie. This is like a damn movie. Okay, and then I was listening to something about Dan Doolin and Dan Doolin's partner, and I haven't got to finish it yet, so I can't really comment on it. But the whole thing about that guy Jesse and how they planted like evidence, or his partner planted evidence. You guys heard any of that? I can't really comment too much on it because I don't know enough. And cushy DOD contract lasted about 3 months and ran for the hills. Too much bureaucracy. Yep. BS, egos, and power trips. Yeah. Yes. Unmasked Truth. Him. This isn't even like a documentary. This is like a full-on miniseries. Can someone tell me if the person that used to work for the defense, can someone tell me if the person that used to work for the defense, the one who took his life? Yes, on Wednesday of last week, there is a gentleman who used to work for the investigator for the defense that took his own life. He's also done four tours in Afghanistan at least. I can't remember the other places if it said. And everything happened to Allen was within weeks of a new Delphi sheriff to be elected. Yeah, and like now Tobe, look at, he goes out, he's such a cool guy, he got the bad guy, and Liggett comes in and he's now cool, look at me, I got the guy. And then Thomas ends up demoted because he wanted to go a different way of looking for a bridge guy, and they're like, yeah, no, we don't like you, you're going down because you were talking too much shit during the election. I have his name. I don't know if it's out in the public. I mean, it's in Facebook groups and stuff. I don't want to. I don't want to say it because I mean, I can't imagine his family. I feel so bad. Especially, there's nobody who's proved to me that this guy even leaked anything, and nobody who's proved to me that if he did leak anything, that's why he took his own life. And until that, I don't even know. I don't think we should talk about him in that way. Because show me some proof that this guy even did any of that, and show me that he took his own life because of it. And I'm not going to trust somebody just talking on a podcast about it. I want to know. I want somebody to show me. Oh, Crime Sleuth, then thank you. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate you. Thank you. Other people could be in danger. Well, they didn't even know who they were looking for. You're telling me that not one of those cops, Dan Doolin, never went into the CVS and was like, oh, yeah, this guy. There's just too much. It's just too much bullshit. I just cannot. And I'm going to tell you right now, bottom line is I am still not saying that I believe that Richard Allen is innocent. I have no freaking idea if that man is innocent. But what I can tell you is every day that goes by, I have more reasonable doubt. And I cannot figure out that I cannot fathom a jury finding this man guilty beyond a reasonable doubt with everything that we know as the public, one. But we have to find out what they're going to actually be able to present in court. And that's going to matter. Stephanie Thompson died in a house fire. She's the one who gave the polygraph. You got Ferenczi, who is from, the trustworthy trio, gets killed at work. I don't know. And now you got the leaker who has committed suicide. I'm like, what? What? This doesn't even make sense. I did listen to the Westfall interview the other night. I believe he actually, Sleuth Intuition was having Patrick Westfall actually come on live. Oh, bullets. Thank you for bringing that up, Inspector Gadget. So that was another thing as I was going back through Julie Melvin's stuff. She actually said that somebody from the Indianapolis police. And like I said, that you could take it for what you want. Don't trust, whatever you want. This is only one source. I gotta find more. She actually said that the Indiana police were asked, a few of them were asked to come down and help and with the crime scene. And a few days later, they found 40 caliber casings. And I was like, wait, they found casings? So they didn't find the bullet. They found 40 caliber casings. So I was like, I got to dig into all of that now. So now that's where I'm at. They have already, yeah, oh yeah, that guy's already, he's done. He's done in social media with no proof. He's done in the public with no proof. His poor family now thinks that he's some guy who is sending out crime scene photos of dead children. And he may have been, but I don't know that. And none of us do. But Murder Sheet Podcast said so. No reason to do that. Well, I mean, he could legally be in trouble, but I just don't. Okay, I'll see you later, Crime Sleuth, then. Mercy said M was the original leaker. He was an ex-employee of Baldwin's. He leaked to R, who gave the photos to multiple people, including Mark. Mark sent to Murder Sheet. Moxie, are you sure? Because I'm almost positive that M is this. That is M. Because they talk about. I'll go back and listen to so that I don't say anything wrong. But I'm thinking that that's the same person. There's two different segments, and they talk about. You know what? Let's just listen to it. Let's listen. We'll pull it up. Because they have the whole thing, and then obviously there's the update at the end about the gentleman that passed away. But they talk about the gentleman that passed away donated to M's child's GoFundMe, right? That M is that same M. So I don't think there's two M's. I think it's one M. But if I'm wrong, I will absolutely state that I am wrong. Hey, JC. R got the pics from M. M was the one who used to work for the defense. Mark is a third person, not M. Okay, so you're two M's, Mark and M. All right. We're going to go listen because that's not how I understand it. Now, Sniper, that is how I understand it. Because, okay, like I said, I'm going to pull it up. So we're going to get clarification right now. My email is criminality187@gmail. Yeah, Water Living Dog. I saw a Reddit post too, and I actually disagreed with them. I was like, yeah, that's not how I understand it.
Some people take the straight principle because his attitude seemed to be if this was done.
Kevin and I are both very curious people. We want to know strangers. We're salivating over
Each other.
Let's not condemn people. I feel like we need to show them that we care.
Did pictures and come up with some grand conclusions, or either Sherlock Holmes. None of us are Sherlock Holmes.
Doesn't exist. He's fictional.
Or experts, people who
you guys hear this okay?
People who aren't just people who have read about things online. People who've actually gone to school for these things and looked at other crime scene pictures of other crimes, visited crime scenes, and know what all of these things mean.
And let me add to that. If you're sitting there thinking, well, for our purposes, for Kevin and I personally, we will not be discussing, describing, verifying anything about what we've seen.
So
please do not waste our time by asking us. Don't waste your time.
Or if it was R,
it's just not something
I was under the understanding that it was R that was
good about doing. We do not feel good about
M was actually the
exploiting what awful things we've seen.
So when we called law enforcement and when we alerted the defense, we did not know the ultimate source of these leaks. as you will hear shortly, that would eventually change.
Here on the Murder Sheet, we're all about real life mysteries.
But when we need to relax, we love a cozy fictional caper. That's why we adore June's Journey, a free to download hidden object game.
What makes this game so special is that you get to become the detective, hot on the trail of a rogues gallery of villains. Sleuth out mysteries everywhere from Hollywood to Manhattan nude and able to tackle whatever challenges I have ahead of me.
Investigation was a name many of you will recognize. It was Jerry Holman of the Indiana State Police. And frankly,
that's fine.
We were impressed with his professionalism and open-mindedness on this. He took very seriously the possibility that this leak could have come from inside law enforcement.
They're not your employees.
And that is something that frankly seemed to spur him on to work even harder to find out who was responsible. Because his attitude seemed to be, if this was done by someone in law enforcement, that person needs to be out of law enforcement. If they're bad apples, we need to get rid.
Okay, so I did just get a screenshot. I'm going to show it to you guys before we keep going, because I'm telling you right now, this is still not my interpretation of it, but this is how they explain it in their Facebook group, apparently. Says, you're right. M was the original leaker. He was an ex-employee of Baldwin's. He leaked it to R, who gave the photos to multiple people, including Mark. After sending us the pictures, Mark blew the whistle on the situation and let authorities know. This is where I run into a problem. Who took the pictures of a computer screen then? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense, because the pictures that M got. Okay, well, I'm gonna figure it out, because this doesn't sound like what they said to me.
Rid of them. And I just thought it was important to make those observations, because we all are used to watching these investigations from the outside. So when we got the opportunity to actually be a small part of an investigation such as this, we were impressed with what we saw. I want to stress that our communications with Sergeant Holman were entirely a one-way street. Again, he was not giving us information. We were giving him information.
Talking about
we did not want in any way to exploit the fact that...
You guys remember who Jerry Holman is? He's one of them that's named in the memorandum as being not trustworthy and corrupt. Not that that's been proven. It hasn't, because the defense hasn't been able to go in front of the judge yet and prove it.
We had received images that we never should have received in order to get something or get quid pro quo or get information for. We treated our role in this as essentially people who had witnessed a crime. We're going to give you our information and then back off.
And again, some people seem to take this as, I'm going to rush to a camera and try to raise money off of this or something like that. And that's frankly appalling.
Yeah.
So let's get back to talking about our source, the person who sent these pictures to us.
Okay, here we go.
I cannot stress enough that this is a good person. This person felt bad about having anything at all to do with the leak or the dissemination of these materials. In fact, we were the only people who received them from this particular source.
And I don't know them. I'm not saying they're bad people.
This source very early on made the determination to want to do everything they could to fix this situation. In other words, they wanted to do the mature and right thing. And so the way to do that in the source's judgment was to provide us with screenshots of all of the back and forth between the source and the person who provided the images to the source. And our source provided the screenshots to us with one condition, namely that we turn them over to law enforcement.
Which we agreed to do.
As we reviewed the communications between our source and this person, we also began hearing from others in the community who had received these images, and it soon became quite clear which side of the defense was responsible for this leak. And we're going to get into that in a second. When you start talking about things, sometimes it becomes a bit confusing. We don't want to name the person who passed along the images to our source. There's a reason for that, which I'm sure we will get to at some point. But that person we are going to refer to as R.
Some background on R. He was a regular participant in at least one Delphi-focused Facebook group where he regularly made comments and arguments.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Are you talking to me? I hope that you're not talking to me. Am I involved with the killer? Yep, we're best friends. I hope you don't actually mean that. I hope you're not talking to me because that's just silly. I haven't taken it to any extreme. This is me covering what other people have talked about. So, all right, let's keep going. Hey, Jo.
That Kevin and I would describe as defense friendly without being necessarily overtly so.
In his private messages with our source, R also shared an enormous amount of inside information about the defense team and their activities. R shared details about the defense team's investigation and strategies and things they'd uncovered. And these are things that have not been made public, but which appear to be accurate.
Okay, so let's just recap really quick. M is their source. Now maybe there's two M's, but hi Mandy. I know who R is. I don't want to say his name because, like I said, nobody's proven to me that he had anything to do with anything, and I'm not going to just say his name and hurt his family like that and have his name on here. I don't want to do that. I know another channel might. I don't want to. Hi Natasha. Recap. M is their source. M is talking to R. R is giving M all of this information, including photos and defense strategies. Okay.
Yes, from our own reporting. He also claimed to have spent time going through the defense's discovery materials at the invitation of the defense team. Now, that's an alarming claim, but
of course.
Here you go. Hold on. I'm going to play it again.
There's a reason for that, which I'm sure we will get to at some point. But that person we are going to refer to as R.
Some background on R. He was a regular participant in at least one Delphi-focused Facebook group where he regularly made comments and arguments that Kevin and I would describe as defense friendly without being necessarily overtly so.
In his private messages with our source, R also shared an enormous amount of inside information about the defense team and their activities. R shared details about the defense team's investigation and strategies and things they'd uncovered. And these are things that have not been made public, but which appear to be accurate.
Yes, from our own reporting. He also claimed to have spent time going through the defense's discovery materials at the invitation of the defense team. Now, that's an alarming claim, but we need to note we have no way of evaluating the accuracy of that.
At the invitation of the defense team. R did, supposedly.
Looked at R's Facebook page, we saw that he was friends with someone whose name we recognized. Again, we're not going to share that name at this time. We'll refer to this individual as M.
M is a former employee of the criminal defense team, Andrew Baldwin's law firm, and someone we know to be close to Attorney Baldwin.
In the messages between our source and R appeared to be highly frustrated by the
invitation of the defense team. Now, that's an alarming claim, but we need to note we have no way of evaluating the accuracy of that.
When we looked at R's Facebook page, we saw that he was friends with someone whose name we recognized.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we're not going to share that name at this time.
That's M.
We'll refer to this individual as M.
Yes.
M is a former employee of the criminal defense team, Andrew Baldwin's law firm, and someone we know to be close to Attorney Baldwin.
In the messages between our source and R appeared to be highly frustrated by the illustration of the alleged symbol on the tree that had been shared on Court TV.
This illustration, which truly to anyone observing, looked more like splatter than the shape of an F per se, appeared to us to have potentially inspired him to share the image of the bloody tree. Essentially, he was trying to refute the court TV illustration.
Hold on. Are you guys understanding that? Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah, it's spatter. FYI. Yeah, it's spatter. I have to play it one more time. And yeah, I know that this is going to become annoying for some of you, but I have to hear it one more time.
As we reviewed the communications between our source and this person, we also began hearing from others in the community who had received these images. Investigation was a name many of you will recognize. It was Jerry Holman of the Indian, actually be a small part of an investigation such as this. We were impressed with what we saw. I want to stress that our communications with Sergeant Holman were entirely a one-way street.
Shit, I went too far.
Camera and try to raise money off of this or something like that. This person felt bad about having anything at all to do with the leak or the dissemination of these materials. In fact, we were the only people who received them from this particular source.
Okay, so hold on.
About our source.
They're not saying who their source is yet, right?
In law enforcement, that person needs to be out of law enforcement. If they're bad apples, we need to get rid of them. And I just thought it was important to make those observations because we all are used to watching these investigations from the outside. So when we got the opportunity to actually be a small part of an investigation such as this, we were impressed with what we saw. I want to stress that our communications with Sergeant Holman were entirely a one-way street. Again, he was not giving us information. We were giving him information.
Yeah.
We did not want in any way to exploit the fact that we had received images that we never should have received in order to get something or get quid pro quo or get information. We treated our role in this as essentially people who had witnessed a crime. We're going to give you our information and then back off.
And again, some people seem to take this as I'm going to rush to a camera and try to raise money off of this or something like that. Being anything at all to do, we're giving.
We're going to.
In fact, we
I'm just gonna let it.
We treated our role in this as essentially people who had witnessed a crime. We're going to give you our information and then back off.
And again, some people seem to take this as I'm going to rush to a camera and try to raise money off of this or something like that. And that's frankly appalling.
Yeah.
So let's get back to talking about our source, the person who sent these pictures to us. I cannot stress enough that this is a good person. This person felt bad about having anything at all to do with the leak or the dissemination of these materials.
This person.
In fact, we were the only people who received them from this particular source. This source very early on made the determination to want to do everything they could to fix this situation. In other words, they wanted to do the mature and right thing. And so the way to do that in the source's judgment was to provide us with screenshots of all of the back and forth between the source and the person who provided the images to the source.
So this is just a source right now.
And our source provided the screenshots to us with one condition, namely that we turn them over to law enforcement.
Which we agreed to do.
Okay, good job.
As we reviewed the communications between our source and this person, we also began hearing from others in the community who had received these images, and it soon became quite clear which side of the fence was responsible for this leak.
I'm not clear.
And we're going to get into that in a second. When you start talking about things, sometimes it becomes a bit confusing. We don't want to name the person who passed along the images to our source. There's a reason for that, which I'm sure we will get to at some point. But that person we are going to refer to as R.
Okay.
Some background on R. He was a regular participant in at least one Delphi-focused Facebook group where he regularly made comments and arguments that Kevin and I would describe as defense friendly without being necessarily overtly so.
In his private messages with our source, R also shared an enormous amount of inside information about the defense team and their activities. R shared details about the defense team's investigation and strategies and things they'd uncovered. And these are things that have not been made public, but which appear to be accurate.
Yes.
Okay, so R is sharing things from the defense team that appear to be accurate, sharing them with this unnamed source. That's where we're at.
From our own reporting. He also claimed to have spent time going through the defense's discovery materials at the invitation of the defense team. Now,
R went through the defense files at the invitation of the defense team, according to this.
oh, that's an alarming claim, but we need to note we have no way of evaluating the accuracy of that.
Fair.
When we looked at R's Facebook page, we saw that he was friends with someone whose name we recognized. Again, we're not going to share that name at this time. We'll refer to this individual as M.
M is a former employee of the criminal defense team, Andrew Baldwin's law firm, and someone we know to be close to Attorney Baldwin.
Okay. The friend, here's where the trickery, I think, is coming into play. R is friends with somebody that used to work for the defense team on Facebook.
In the messages between our source and R appeared to be highly frustrated by the illustration of the alleged symbol on the tree that had been shared on court TV.
This illustration, which truly, to anyone observing, looked more like splatter than the shape of an F per se, appeared to us to have potentially inspired him to share the image of the bloody tree. Essentially, he was trying to refute the court TV illustration.
Now they're saying R was trying to refute the court TV illustration.
Because the implication was the court TV illustration was bad for the defense and seemed in some way to go against the Odinism theory, and getting this picture out there would in some way correct the record in their mind and be supportive of the Odinism theory.
Now, all we know is what we can interpret from our statements. So we don't know what was in his heart, but this is just our interpretation based on the tenor of the conversations, both public and private, that we witnessed this person have.
Through the screenshots.
Through the screenshots and through our own research online.
Now, from speaking with others, we also know that R did not simply leak the images just to our source. R leaked these images at the very least to one other person, and there's possibly others out there that we don't even know about.
Suffice to say that in a very short amount,
it would have to be Rick Snay, right? Because he's the one that they already had that conversation. I don't know.
Of time, these images were spreading around widely.
So on October 9th, 2023, we sat down for a formal interview with Sergeant Holman. We passed along to him all the materials we had received from our source, and we made a formal statement.
We also, at that time, deleted the images from the crime scene from our phones. We had only held on to them that long because we did not want to destroy evidence. But at this interview, we took our phones out and deleted them.
So it is important, again, I know we're repeating ourselves. It is very important. If you have these images, you are not in trouble. Report it to law enforcement, delete the images, don't share them with others.
Don't go online and talk about them. Don't gossip about them with your friends. None of us were ever meant to have or see these. And it does not help the case. It does not help the defendant's rights. It does not help the memory of the victims for us to be trying to exploit this improper access that we all had in order to make a point, win an argument, get some clicks.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there just for a second because I'm going to go again and I'm going to say I get that there are people who do not like to look at crime scene photos. And there are people who like to look at crime scene photos. And then there are weirdos who like to look at crime scene photos for nefarious reasons. Now, those are three separate groups of people. Crime scene photos are not the physical evidence that is going to put somebody away. They're crime scene photos. They're to describe the crime as they came upon it. They're not the evidence to prove that Richard Allen or Joe Schmo or R or M or whomever else did the crime. They're photos. And I get that they're of young girls, and I get that people do not want to see them. I get it. Crime scene photos do not bother me. Once again, I was raised in a house with a dad that was a cop. My uncle's a cop. My cousins are cops. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I get it. And called in about this, maybe Mob Crew. Oh, really? Oh, I'll have to go listen. I love Mob Crew. So this, oh my gosh. This is, to me, the whole essential of, like, if you look at a crime scene photo, you're a bad person and this is nefarious and we shouldn't have them. There are plenty of murders that happen where the state will send you crime scene photos before the trial even happens. It's not that nefarious. I promise you.
It's just not appropriate. It's heinous.
To look at little girls.
And let's show grace to one another in this. Let's not be overly judgmental of people who may have these images or who may even have shared them with one person. Let's just take this as an opportunity to encourage those people to do the right thing. Sometimes it's hard to remember what the right thing is or to even know what the right thing to do is.
Especially in a case like Delphi. Everybody has spent years trying to get more information, running after tips, running after comments on social media. We want to know, and we understand that.
And so if a person in a moment, without really thinking of the consequences, shared it with a friend or something, don't be judgmental. Just let's encourage that person to now do the right thing.
I don't think shame and blame help here. I think understanding and saying, let's all stop what we're doing, think about it, do the right thing. I think that is what is going to help people move forward with this. And this never should have happened, but ultimately, if we can just find a way to come together and do the right thing as a collective, that's showing the girls, everyone who cared about the girls, that we care too.
Yes,
we care enough to protect this case and protect their memories.
We agree on
so we're talking a lot about how we as a community should be reacting to this and what we as a community should be doing. Let's shift our conversation over to the defense team. The fact that a breach of this extreme magnitude occurred on the defense team's watch is an extraordinarily serious matter. I cannot overstate how serious this is. Now, we have no inside knowledge.
I do feel like it's,
but we feel that based on everything we know, it is crystal clear that this leak and its consequences are going to be the focus of the upcoming hearing. Keep in mind that there was a protective order on the discovery in this case.
So what that means is that the defense agreed to ensure that they only shared the discovery with trustworthy associates, either expert witnesses or support staff, who signed paperwork affirming that they wouldn't leak anything on the penalty of contempt of court charges. And those were supposed to also be approved with the court. There was supposed to be a process for this.
Now, Judge Fran Gull has numerous options as to how she can respond and deal with this at this upcoming hearing.
That's very true.
On one extreme, she can just tell the defense attorneys, well, do better next time.
True.
On the other extreme, given the fact that these men were appointed by the court, she would be within her rights to remove Brad Rosie and Andrew Baldwin from this case.
He's right when he says
experts we've spoken with on background, experts who, again, are in no way affiliated with this case, have indicated to us that they feel there is indeed a very real possibility of Rosie and Baldwin being removed from this case at the upcoming hearing.
I don't see that happening. It would be a real issue for Richard Allen's rights for her to remove his counsel at this time. And it would be a huge issue to remove that same counsel after they have put out everything that has been put out and say that there's not something else to it. And I actually think Fran Goal she may give him a little slap on the wrist, but I don't think that anybody's going anywhere. So that's my opinion. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. Okay. I'm going to keep going.
So what you just heard was recorded yesterday, Friday.
Okay. Oh, this is the second part. So now this is something you have to pay attention to. Again, like one of you guys said, this is like an algebra problem. It's really hard to solve. That's really what this is. It's like M/R equals source. I don't know.
We'd hoped we could wait to release it until Monday. We also very much hope that a few of the details we chose to hold back could also remain private, at least for a while. But some very distorted versions of a few things have started to come out on social media, and we think it is incredibly important that we tell you the truth about those things.
Good.
Our source's name is Mark. Again, we need to reiterate, he was sent these images by a man we're calling R. At one point, R donated some money to a fundraiser for Mark's child.
Our source's name is Mark. R donated funds to Mark. So Mark is the good guy here, right? He's the one who feels that everything is wonderful.
Despite what you may have heard, that was not a payment for the pictures. It was R who got the pictures through his connections to the defense team. It was R who shared them with Mark.
It was R who got them from the defense team, who shared them with Mark.
We feel that R's donation was just trying to be nice to a guy he met on the internet.
R donated $500 to Mark's daughter's GoFundMe.
Another fact we were actually incredibly reluctant to share is that R died by suicide last week. He was a young man with a wife and family.
You never really can know what's in another person's heart or mind, and therefore, not knowing that, we hesitate to draw any conclusions about what happened to R. Needless to say, this is an incredible tragedy, and a family is left reeling and devastated by this whole situation, this whole horrible situation. And again, we don't know this individual. We never reached out to R. We never spoke with R, but it's very possible that other situations were happening that just none of us know about. But it's just such an awful and tragic outcome.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Now, you guys tell me at the end of that, is there 2 M's? Because it sounds to me like he got that Mark got the information from R, who got it from the defense team. Am I wrong? Yes. 1M, Mark squared, source, $500. There was a donation of $500, and then there's this whole thing that they're saying, we want people to know that that was not payment for the pictures. It was simply just a guy who knew another guy on social media. Now, let me explain something to you. Why in the world would R be paying Mark for pictures that R is sending to Mark? Does that make any sense? This is just nuts. That literally, I feel so gaslit after that. I don't even know who's who and what's what anymore. So many damn M's and R's. So now in the Facebook group, they clarify and say, no, the R is, there's another M Hold on, let me go back and find it. There's another M and another whatever. Oh, shit. You're right. M was the original leaker. He was an ex-employee of Baldwin's. He leaked it to R, who gave the photos to multiple people, including Mark. But they're saying that he's friends with the person on Facebook, and their payment was not for the photos. That person he paid is Mark. You guys see what I'm saying? Like, that just doesn't. It's like, you're right. M was the original leaker. He was an ex-employee of Baldwin's. He leaked it to R, who gave the photos to multiple people, including Mark. After sending us the pictures, Mark decided to blow the whistle. I don't know why Mark didn't just go to law enforcement himself. It does not add up to me. Then we want to correct that R did not pay Mark for the pictures. Well, why would R pay anybody for the pictures if R's the one who had them? The Facebook post is ass backwards of what he just said. I absolutely agree. So, anyone else confused? Yeah, I think a lot of people are. I don't even. So once again, from the beginning of this live to the end of this live, all I can tell you is I do believe that there is shit that got leaked. I do believe that people have seen leaked stuff. I do believe that the sticks and the tree are intentional. What do they actually mean? I have no fucking clue. I do not know if it's an F. I do not know if there's any type of runes. I can see why people think that it does look. I can see exactly why the defense team sees it that way. I mean, looking at it, I can see an F. I can see a weird asterisk pattern that does have to do with Odinism. I can see these things. I know that I can see them. Is that what they mean? I don't even know if we can know what they mean until somebody actually comes in, and like an actual professional can come in and tell us that's what it means. Or the murderer can say, no, bunch of idiots. No, that's not what I was trying to tell you. Hi, Mez. So anyway, yeah, who's on first? So at the end of this, I still don't have a clue about who leaked what, and if the leak from the original photos of the water clothes, or the clothes in the water, the photos of the tree, and the photos of the crime scene, are they all coming from the same exact place? Is there 1,000 leakers? What the hell is happening? So that's where I am at, and that's I have no good answers for you. I have some things that I'm going to continue to research, and maybe I'll come up with something. But that's where I'm at. I don't know who the hell was on the north side. I don't know who was on the south side. It makes no sense. Now, if the leak fits, you must have quit. That was what I said earlier too. Yeah, I struggled with that, and I've never really had any. Like I said, I don't know them. I don't know them personally. I've never spoke to them. I really have nothing against them. I don't know really much about them or their history or what they've done in their life. I don't know any of that. This specific podcast episode just really made me go, and they said they recorded it like 5 times. So I'm going to go with the benefit of the doubt on this. They said they recorded it like 5 times. So they obviously weren't happy with the way they were presenting the information, and they were nervous about how it was going to come out. So maybe that's what I'm hearing. Maybe I'm just hearing all the weird hesitation and the changing of the tones and the words. But I still think there's only one M. I still think that M put out a photo of a tree that does not have any computer glitchy stuff on it, which means to me that M has access to photos, not from a computer screen, but from some type of actual delivery process. And that means to me that somebody else is taking pictures of those photos and sending them out to people. That's where I'm at. I did, yeah. I have no issue with Gray Hughes. I know, I don't go in there and check. But I have no issue with him as a person. No, okay, we can't view the 3 replies. I'm not in there. No, it wasn't the original. There are 3 people involved from what they're saying. And some people took it this way. The original leaker used to work at the defense office. He gave them to another person, and that person gave them to their source. The suicide is the middle guy. So, and some of you guys in chat said that's what you guys thought too. So maybe it's just a weird, some of us are hearing it differently kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe. Don't know. I want to be clear, it was not a payment. Okay, so the text message showing $500 being paid is not a payment. I know the text looks like a payment, but it makes no sense for him to pay that person because he's supposedly sending the images to that person. So why would he pay him to, I'm going to pay you $500 so I can give you images? That's just dumb. Are there 2 marks? Crystal, maybe. Before or after Snake outed them for having the pics? Ooh, jujitsu. I don't know. We'd have to look at Snake, what day Snake put that video out. They said they went to Holman on October 9th, I believe. They said they aren't going to run out and make money from it, then release a video we all have to watch 50 times to understand. Oh, yes. Yes. Essentially, because I'm still confused, even at the end of listening to it again. I wonder if we're all overthinking everything and they aren't really this deep and we're just off. Maybe. Shit, maybe Candace. I don't even know anymore. I just am so frustrated. I'm like, why did I ever read that stupid document to begin with? I never should have done it. Never should have read 136 pages. And I ended up back in this Delphi nightmare of a rabbit hole that I'm like, is there even an end? Am I ever going to have a chance to talk about another case that I care about? Because no matter what, every day there's just some type of shenanigans that I'm like, what? What? Welcome to Delphi. I know. I left this rabbit hole years ago. And then that's why I had to go back and find all my screenshots and stuff. But the problem with that is now I don't understand what half of them even meant. I'm like, why did I think this was important? Oh, Scottish Queen, my queen. Yeah. We were talking about the Ron Logan one. That's true. Yeah, I guess you're right, and I won't do it again then. And too many questions. Too many questions. And you know I left that damn island. I don't need to be on a Delphi island. Hey, Lilith. Yes, I saw that too. Oh, somebody asked if it was supposed to be televised. I did see that it is going to be televised. I saw that today. Now, if I could remember where I saw it or my source, that would be great. But I did see today that it is supposed to be televised. But they're not naming the original person who worked for, yes, but what they're saying is that what they know, oh, this is what's frustrating. They said that they looked at R's Facebook and realized that R was friends with M and that he had paid M for these photos. They wanted to clarify he did not pay M for the mark. So unless there are 2 marks, then my final thought on it is that is Mark. And now, did R actually give the photos to Mark, or did Mark give the photos to R? Now, Murder Sheet says that they have all the text messages and correspondence between the 2. I've not seen them, so I can't say. I don't think that Diener, I think that's probably just a typo, but or just he was already on there, or maybe he's going to be called in because he's going to be like, hey, here's would you have given, maybe Frank Gold's just going to blatantly say, hey, if you knew that this was bad info, would you have still given a search warrant? And if he says yes, then there you go. Says all these witness statements are bullshit, and would you have still signed off on it? And Diener's like, I would have. And then it's done. And if he says, nope, I wouldn't have. Maybe that's the way to go about it. Just ask him if he would actually change his mind, because that's what the defense is saying, is that he would change. He would not have given them that search warrant if he knew all the things that they had lied about. Yes, probably. And that fires the mom and the daughter. I have a migraine. I know. Yeah, and he left because he didn't feel safe. Yep, another error from court. I don't know why, with how exhausted I am, I still come home and listen about Delphi, making me even more frustrated and tired. I can't stop looking. I can't stop looking. I go to bed at night thinking about it now, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to. Why am I doing this? Like, stop. But I'm like, what if this does this? Then does that make that? And does this do this? And what about this? And who was here? And who saw that? And then I got to go find all those things. No, I know. I was just saying, like, why not? Like, it would just be the easiest way, right? Figure out if he would actually do it. I know. I'm done. We've been on here for almost 3 hours. And I, at the end of it, I don't think we came up with an answer for any of the major points of the whole thing. We've got some random guy who comes out of the bushes that some other guy in a couple sees. Still don't know who that guy is. We've got, don't know who's on the top, who's on the north side, who's on the south side, who's got what pictures, who actually was the leaker of those pictures, who's the leaker of this stuff, and the person who killed themselves on Wednesday, does he even have anything to do with anything? We're just going to have to wait and find out. If you guys come up with any answers on any of those things, my email is criminality187@gmail. I would appreciate it so that I can stop thinking about it. On that note, I'm going to let you guys go. But as always, I absolutely appreciate every single one of you and all of your thoughts and sharing your thoughts. And even when you don't agree and you don't agree with me, and I'm good. I thank you. I thank you for being here. I thank you for participating and letting me bounce whatever the hell's in my brain off of you. I am going to try to be on tomorrow. And possibly, I'm going to go listen to, I'm not doing that right now. First, I'm going to go make dinner. Later tonight, I'm going to listen to Patrick Westfall, who was on Sleuth Intuition on live to answer questions. So make sure you guys listen to that. And then I will most likely come tomorrow and just, if there's anything important, maybe discuss it. Or maybe we can just get back to our originally scheduled program of going back in time and seeing what the hell is what. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you guys haven't, make sure you guys hit the like button. And I appreciate it. And I don't know how many times I'm going to say appreciate it. And there's still a sunroof, Scotty Skulls. Have a good Monday evening.